What's up, Pickleheads? Back another week. Today we're going to talk about some new service rules that honestly I think are going to change the game of pickleball. Some of these are new, some are old that can certainly be cheated if you read the words right. And I'm hoping people don't do that, but I think this will change the game. But before we do that, I do want to talk about why, and Austin's not going to be happy with this, I am so done with the two-handed backhand. I cannot do the two-handed backhand anymore. I'm just done with it. I've been trying to learn it now. I've been trying to force myself to learn it. I'm done with it. The reason that I'm done with it, and I know this isn't for everybody, but the reason that I'm done with it is I have finally worked on my one-handed backhand enough that I'm confident with it, and I can't get to a point with a two-handed backhand that I feel comfortable with it. I just can't. So,
well, that's probably greatly due to the amount of time that you spend actually playing pickleball, right?
Well,
or
yeah.
you can prioritize playing pickleball. You're going to prioritize other things over
Right.
pickleball anyway
Right.
with your schedule. So it's probably greatly has to do with that. Because if you got enough reps in, you'd love it. I love it for certain shots. So
yeah, I just need to get the reps in. But I figured there's one issue with my one-handed backhand. I'm specifically referring to the backhand drive, okay? I'm comfortable now with my one-handed backhand drive, and yeah, like you said, I just don't have any more time or patience to put in the two-handed backhand, and I know everyone listening is going to be like, no, that's the future. I get that, but there is one issue with my one-handed backhand is I have to switch my grip every time before I hit it. So I go from an Eastern forehand for my forehand drive to an Eastern backhand for my backhand drive.
for a one-hander?
For a one-hander.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. I've found it to be consistent. It feels comfortable. And I've just shanked too many two-handed backhands. So in other words, to the audience, I'm giving up. Everyone should learn the two-handed backhand, but this is one of those do as I say, don't do as I do.
I bet you give me one lesson, dude. One lesson with you, you'll be hooked on your two-hander.
I don't know if I have the patience for it.
It's like all it is a lefty forehand.
And
So
your
it's-
right hand's guiding, right?
And your right hand's guiding. So it's just getting your left arm to do what you're doing with your forehand on the left.
And it
With your
seems so
non-dominant.
easy, but I'm just like, I'm an idiot, man. I can't do it anymore. I'm
Well,
just done with it.
One lesson.
I'm
We're going to do a future video. Okay, maybe sooner than later.
Yeah.
Maybe while you're here. We'll just do a future 30-minute, like quick.
Oh,
We'll edit it down so it's not 30 minutes, but I'm saying
some lessons
we
bad.
could just do the two-hander because, man, there's nothing better than that two-hander.
Austin's going to charge me for it, though.
I'm $250 an hour, dude.
For everyone watching, let me see your paddle. Sorry, I didn't bring my paddle, but I just want to show you. So we've explained this before on the pod. An Eastern forehand, get to a point where I can set this down. So with an Eastern forehand, my index knuckle and what is this knuckle called?
Where?
Bottom right palm.
Yeah, palm pad.
Palm pad outside of your palm. Those both line up with, for anyone watching, you look at the first bevel on here and then follow it up. Those both kind of line up about there, except I hold my paddle farther down here. So it doesn't look as much like I'm holding Eastern because my pad is hanging off of the paddle. But that's what I hold for a forehand. But then I switched when I want to hit. Anytime I'm going to hit a backhand drive, I'm going to be deep in the court. So I feel like I have time to hit a backhand drive. Hopefully I'm close enough to the mic here. So that means and I'm able to do this with one hand. I do a slight switch to where I become Eastern backhand. And I don't know, the little bit that I've played, it's felt pretty good.
Yeah, I use an Eastern backhand if I use a one-hander. And my one-hander's not nearly as consistent. But I remember when I first started playing pickleball, everybody was hitting one-handed backhands. So I was like, oh, I guess that's just what you do. And I came from tennis where I was hitting a two-hander. So I picked it up pretty quick. And then
Yeah.
You watch a couple of pros that have amazing backhands and they have a two-hander. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll learn the two-hander. Now I've got it kind of down. But
Nah, you have it down.
I feel like I don't. That's never something that I've practiced is a two-handed backhand, but I could prioritize some time to it. I'm just going to hold this.
Good idea. He's
painful to
coordinated
witness.
enough to hit a two-handed backhand, but to put that thing on the shelf.
Anything behind the it's because in pickleball you don't want to go past your shoulder. Okay, this is some good advice for you. Okay, you don't want to go past that shoulder when you're swinging through your shot.
Your backswing.
Your backswing past that shoulder. So it's just not in my muscle memory.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. Pickleball only. Muscle memory.
No matter what I'm doing, whether I'm eating breakfast, dude, I take that spoon, bring it up to my mouth. I ain't going back further. You know what I'm saying? Even though that makes no sense. But yeah, that's interesting. You're giving up on it. I think.
Yeah,
I think you give me one lesson with you. We could figure it out, dude. It's just getting out there and literally hitting lefty forehands.
Oh, okay.
And doing it the right way with the right technique. But
I'm just done for now. Yeah, but then when I feel like when I know my right hand's only supposed to guide, but then when I put my right hand on it, anyway, I'm done for now. But maybe I'll change my mind later on. Oh,
serve rolls.
yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay.
I haven't heard about these, so Spencer came up with this, and it's just going to be a surprise to me. We're going to talk about them.
Yeah, because I want to hear your true opinion.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So we just found out PPA Masters is going to be the first tournament of the year, January 9th, I believe. Okay, that's
Masters.
in Cali. A lot of big time players playing in that. Like everyone's going to be there, including 4 tennis players, which I'm sure everyone has heard. If not, I'll list who they are. Jeannie Bouchard, great female tennis player. I heard she hasn't been playing much pickleball at all, though, so we'll kind of see.
Yeah.
But we could all be wrong, and maybe she secretly has been playing pickleball, and maybe she's great, but I doubt it. And then Jack Sock, obviously, who we're excited for. And then Donald Young, I'm interested to see how he's progressed because we haven't seen him play for over a year. Last time we saw him, he was at the Bubbly tournament in Vegas when they did kind of that thing. And then the fourth one, who am I thinking of?
It's a girl?
No, it's a guy.
Oh, so it's one girl and
Who
3
did
guys.
I go through?
Donald Young, Jeannie Bouchard.
Jack Sock.
Jack Sock. Is it Sam Query or?
Oh, yeah, and Sam is back.
Okay.
So, I mean, 4 which were considered big-time tennis players now really getting into the game and playing together, so it's going to be
Who's
interesting.
playing? With who?
So Jack Sock in men's is playing with Colin Schick, so
Yeah.
that will be interesting. We talked about that. Donald Young was lined up with some no-names. He's playing singles, he's playing mixed, and he's playing doubles. I looked them all up. I can look them up again here in just
It's
a
just
minute,
for this tournament.
but I didn't know who they were. Yeah, for this tournament. And then Jeannie Bouchard is playing mixed with Tyler Leung, and I didn't see who she's playing women's with. So I'll look that up here in just a minute. What sucks is on pickleball brackets, it'll probably take me an hour and a half to find who's playing with who. They'll make me log in 6 times.
No, you probably haven't done a tournament lately, but they fixed some shiz.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it's a little faster than normal.
It's actually, pickleball brackets is actually pretty top tier. Honestly, I've been impressed. You don't have to log in to see stuff.
So they've been listening.
Yeah, they've been listening to our pod. That's
Yeah.
what's been happening.
That's for sure what it is. For sure.
It's honestly nice, I would say. Because I signed up for a tournament. It's like I could see who was in it, everything, without having to put in a username and a password and stuff, which was nice.
Okay.
And I could find it pretty easily.
All right. So credit where credit is due. I know that's owned by the PPA, but good for them. I'm glad they finally made it a little better. I'll look up some of those, but first, let's talk about what we came here to talk about. New service rule. This is specifically for PPA Masters. They're going to test it out. Okay, so last pod we talked about, you said, what if we just switch to a drop serve only? Then it could be, universal, and then nobody can cheat the rule, right?
Right.
So I think this could be helpful, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes. It's just going to be hard to monitor, just like all the other ones are tough to monitor. It's like it's hard to tell, and the refs, are they going to call it? Or are they not going to call it? So it says, for the serve, the release of the ball must be both downward and below the top of the hip. A fault will be called for any violation. So it's not saying it's going to be a reserve or anything like that. It says it'll be a fault. So the way that I understand that, for anyone watching, if you're not watching on YouTube, I suggest you do palm down. Okay, but you can't release the ball up here. So if I'm standing, I'll show that real quick. The ball has to be released at my hip or lower.
This is just drop serve?
Yeah. No.
Both
you
serves.
can volley serve or drop serve.
But that's the rule for both.
The rule is the ball has to be released right here with palm down. And so you're not going to be able to put upward force on it. Like I think about like Zane Navratil. He still throws that ball up there before he serves. And I know that I toss my ball before
That's
I
going to
serve
be
too.
weird. This
Yeah,
is
it's gonna be
starting
weird.
tomorrow or whenever, 2024?
No, so it's just for the Masters tournament.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a test. So that tournament on January 9th.
Everybody's serve is going to look weird.
But what do you think about that? How do you cheat that? If they enforce it, how do you cheat that rule?
I love it. I love it because it's an automatic fault, like you were saying. So it's an automatic fault if they don't follow it.
And that should help a ton too, because with the rules right now, it's like reserve.
Yeah.
You cheated it, but reserve. But now it's a straight fault. But I don't think you're going to be able to put, I don't know, because even if you have it at hip length, maybe you're trying to put it more in front of you. I would be wanting to put it more, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like, in front of me, but I still have to keep my hand down below my hip when I do that.
Everybody's timing is going to be way off because think about Tyson McGuffin. He steps in, puts his paddle together, tosses the ball up, does his wingy dingy.
Yeah.
Well, he does that before he tosses the ball.
Women's softball.
Tosses the ball up off of his paddle. So that's going to be weird for him to adjust.
Yeah.
And I can think of 10 more that it would be weird for them to adjust. Only one that's not going to be weird for is Callie Smith. Who has that weird looking serve.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just down here. Beer.
She probably wrote this rule. She's like soccer.
She's rule proof.
But we should place bets on how many serves are going to be missed just because nobody's used to doing that.
Yeah,
And
Zane.
they're going to want to put more power on it too. Like, yeah, everyone can get it over consistently if they're not putting any power or spin on the ball.
Yeah,
If
I
you're
just
wanting to.
Tyson's whole motion's going to be thrown off.
Yeah.
There's no way he can do it.
Taps the ball. He taps the ball with his paddle, pop, pop, and then he does his thing.
Yeah.
before
He lassos that thing.
yeah. But
Because it's tap, lasso, toss. No, tap, lasso, tap, toss.
yeah.
Boom. So he's going to have to do tap, lasso, tap, drop.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Huh.
So
That's fun. I'm glad you brought this. This is fun. This is a fun podcast. I had no idea.
So I think that will, if they end up enforcing that, or if that turns into what USAPA makes everyone do universally in all tournaments, I really think that will change the game substantially.
Yeah.
Because then really you can't, you can't win just from having a good serve. You know what I mean? You have to win from actually playing the game of pickleball and not just the serve, which steers it away from tennis.
Yeah. Which I got a ton of heat for, in my opinion, on that, on my YouTube video. Everybody was saying, 60% of the people that commented on that, I said that it should just go to a drop serve. I think that this would solve a lot of the problems, not knowing that they changed that rule, which that solves a lot of the problems
Yeah.
automatically. But I was getting some heat. They were like, the serve shouldn't be a weapon in your opinion. Everybody hated that. So I want to see your guys' opinion on that, but I don't think it should be. I think it should be a weapon to the extent of a drop serve, how big of a weapon a drop serve can be. But
Okay,
that's
so
just my
now let's
opinion.
talk about that. I'm going to throw another wrench into things.
Okay.
So the 2023, as far as I understand, the 2023 regulation rules, USAPA legit rules for 2023 for the drop serve, and then 2024 for the drop serve are the same. Okay?
Okay.
But there's a chink in the armor, if you will. There's an issue here. With the volley serve, that's when you hit the serve out of the air. It talks about how your motion has to go from low to high. It also talks about how you can't make you have to make contact with the ball below your waist, right? With the drop serve, it doesn't say that at all. So with the drop serve, we know this rule now, right? But somebody can cheat the drop serve now too.
Okay.
And they could have last year if you pay attention to these rules. It says the server must release the ball from one hand only or drop it off the paddle face from any natural unaided height. So that we know we can't throw the ball up and we can't push the ball down or throw the ball down. It says from any height. So if you did want to drop it from up here, technically, it does not matter how you contact the ball when you hit it. You don't have to hit from low to high. It's not part of the rules on a drop serve. It says when releasing the ball shall not be propelled in any direction or in any manner prior to striking the ball to make the serve.
Okay.
The restrictions on the volley serve do not apply to the drop serve. It specifically says they do not apply.
Huh.
So technically, I mean, especially if you're on like maybe a newer court or a harder surface court, if you're dropping the ball from up here, it could drop maybe somewhat high enough for you to just hit a forehand drive rather than a serve. But I just find it interesting to see that I mean, think about a tall guy too. I mean, I'm short, but I could get that ball to drop high enough to where at least I'm somewhat contacting the ball sideways instead of from low to high.
We need to test it because I dropped a ball from up here and it made it to like middle of from all the way up here.
Okay.
But what I am thinking could be for those of you that are listening, I don't know what this is called right now. I'm drawing a blank. Quad? Is this a quad?
Your thigh.
Thigh. It went midway up my thigh, and I dropped it from all the way as high as I could reach. So I don't think they will have a problem with it bouncing too high. But if you get someone like John Isner playing and he drops it for his partner, you know what I'm saying? That wouldn't be illegal, right? But I'm just saying he just drops it from up at skyscraper height.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't say that.
That sucker's going to bounce. Yeah. But I would say they'll have to swing low to high to get it over the net anyway. So that's my answer to that one. Just because I've tried it. You just can't get it higher.
Okay, this is going to sound stupid. But I wonder how much power you could get from your knees if you were to get super low. But then you're basically hitting an overhead.
Yeah, that's a good point. But then you have the net in the way. So it's like you'd still have to hit up.
It'd be straight.
Yeah.
Like it'd have to be a real good
missile
shot.
Yeah.
Did you know also, somewhat side note, on the drop serve, it can bounce as many times as you want?
Yeah, I did know that.
I didn't know that.
How about Shea Underwood's?
But I don't understand why you would, other than being a douche and tricking the opponent.
Yeah.
Like, you bounce it once, and then you pretend like you're not paying attention, and then hit it after it bounces 2 or 3 times. Like,
why would that be a rule? Why would that be a rule?
I don't know.
They just were like, hey, let's make up a rule here.
Yeah, that one doesn't make much sense. But anyway, if you were good enough at it, it is.
Do you know the answer to this? If you do your drop serve, fail to swing, is that a fault? I mean, you just let it bounce until you can't hit it. Is that a fault, or can you just pick it up and drop it again?
I would assume within that 10 seconds you can just pick it up and drop it again. Because I have seen people in a tournament, like if you're watching like a 3, it's typically the lower levels that are drop serving. I have seen them do that where they didn't like the bounce, and then they'll grab the ball again and hit it again. But it doesn't say that in the rules. So
you can drop your drop serve from way up as high as you can reach, but is this applying to the Masters tournament?
You mean this? I don't think you can drop serve at all in the PPA. I don't think you're allowed to drop serve.
Okay. Why do they have different rules than everybody else?
Yeah, it's crazy. But this, I think you have to volley serve in the PPA. I think that's a rule.
That's weird.
Because a lot of the guys were trying to do a drop serve and they just made it universal. That we can't do the drop serve. But I'll read this rule one more time for anyone that may have missed it. For the serve, the release of the ball must be both downward and below the top of the hip. A fault will be called for any violation. Another point to that is, where do they consider the top of the hip? Because on the volley serve in the rule book, they say it has to be below the waist. But then they say, well, technically that means below the navel. It's like, well, the navel is not the waist.
Yeah,
it's
nowhere near the waist.
As here. But
just above your hip.
But yeah, it's like the top of the waist is basically, the top of the hip is basically the waist, in my opinion.
Yeah, or below the hip is the waist, in my opinion. So I'm thinking about where my shorts are right now.
Yeah, or right below.
Or just below my saddlebags.
What if somebody has a deformity and they have hip bones that are up in their rib cage?
Or they get a surgery just so they can...
Like, technically it's the hip.
They pull their shirt up. Whoa! You win, dude. I just don't want to see that.
Automatic win.
Automatic dub.
Now we're making fun of people with
someone listening right now. It's like, freak you guys.
I apologize to anyone who has hips up to their neck. Hips don't lie.
Hips don't lie. 100.
Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Again, this is just a test. So I think if it goes well, I would assume that they'll push it for the rest of the year. If it doesn't,
yeah, they'll exit
back
out.
to square one. Everyone's going to cheat on their serve. So
I like it. I think that solves all the problems.
Yeah.
I say now, in my humble opinion, I think ditch the drop serve. No longer legal. Because, well, I mean...
Yeah, who needs it if you have this?
Who needs it if you have that? But I guess it is people... Why did they introduce the drop serve in the first place? Wasn't it wheelchairs?
Or... now we're getting into disabilities again, but... Or anybody that wants to learn the game, like maybe senior citizens that... I just know people personally that are a little bit older that had trouble with the volley serve.
They can't quite
figure it out. But for some reason, if they can bounce serve, it's a rhythm for them, and they're able to get it over. So I think it lowered the barrier to entry for pickleball players, really, was the reason that they introduced it. So it could stay that way on the amateur level, whatever. But maybe they could say, but in tournament play at this level and up, or they may only say the pro level only, we got to drop below the hip. So I'm excited to see what happens. Everybody go and watch that tournament. Let us know what you think. And prior to watching it, I think everyone should place a bet on how many missed serves there's going to be.
Yeah.
I really think there's going to be a lot of missed serves. Because everybody is used to, not everybody, but most are used to going for it on the serve.
Who just straight up drops it? I drop it, but I drop it from shoulder height.
Yeah, I know I toss it. If I get into it and just think about it, I know that I toss the ball up a little bit. I mean, it's not flying high in the air, but I do know I toss it. And, okay, I toss it like this. So my palm is down, but I do toss it up ever so slightly before I hit it.
I probably toss it up ever so slightly because I'm starting from low, lifting up, dropping. As I'm dropping, I'm probably lifting. Boom.
Yeah.
That's the only that's a little weird. That'd feel a little weird. My timing would be off. There's going to be some missed serves for sure, but interesting stuff.
But yeah, I will make that bet though. If they do implement this everywhere, pickleball again will change drastically the game itself.
Yeah.
Like there's no way around it.
I like it. What do you think? You like it?
I like it so far. Let's see how it plays out, though.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Everybody just hates it. Yeah. Boycott.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, anything else, Oz?
No, I think that's it.